We used to put all the oil and like instead of like nowadays it's like the opposite of what she tells people to do.
And we were like in the shade.
But even at the end, her skin was like perfect.
Yeah, I know that she was sunbathing, so there's no. Envy your skin.
No.
It's your secret.
Yeah. This is Etta.
Rabbi Brown.
And this is Charlie. Charlie's had a couple tries, but I think, there's more curiosity than a lot of things, there's the most they've never experienced that. Like, and I I hope I probably the better thing about 4 o'clock this morning, huddled behind his leg, falling. She was a pretty cool mom. Yeah. I think Molly's got it, but
I was hugging last.
so many balls. I guess I expected. They're already Yeah, I can do it.
Your last name.
Using two songs. Sorry, this is my bike.
Things I should be thankful for. My pride feels my shame. As I sit here in the comfort of a cozy chair. Fancy takes me to a humble.
Oh, British.
Oh!
Oh, hello.
Wasn't much like paradise, but where's the dirt and all? The sweetest angel. One that I can recall.
I don't think that's
Is there a special way
Already, he said. I'm a frequent flyer.
yeah. Just stand up It's very good.
No charge. Practice.
Hold on, am I in front of it right now? Can you see me now? I'm not sure if I'm looking at the right camera. Okay, because I think, can you see the podium? Yeah. Right in front of the camera is the call. If you can see me standing on the podium, that's perfect. Because that's all you're really going to see.
Friends, thank you all for coming. Rabbi Brown, we're going to begin our service in just a moment. We have just a few seats, so for anyone who needs a place to sit, please feel free. Otherwise, we will gather around here in Also remind everyone to please Silence your cell phones. Thank you.
Mom, can you tell me? Watch this, Mom. Guys, watch this. I'm gonna watch like this. Watch Why didn't you catch me? I said this. Make this sound. Set the eternal always before me. God is at my side, I shall not be moved. Therefore does my heart exult and my soul rejoice. My being is secure. For you will not abandon me to death, nor let your faithful one see destruction. You show me the path of life. Your presence brings fullness of joy. Enduring happiness is your gift. A life that was so full of happiness and joy. That was Shelley. So many of you I know were showing me that picture of her that you received, of her eyes bright with joy, with music in her heart, dance in her steps. These last few years have been difficult for her, and for the peace of today we are grateful, but we are full of sorrow for this precious life that was part of our world. In times of sorrow in our tradition, we look to the Psalms, to the Tehillim that give us comfort, grant us a sense of connection with our ancestors through all of the generations who have gone and walked through this valley, the shadow of death. In particular, Psalm 23 gives us great comfort, and we'd like to invite Joseph Marciano to chant that for us.
מזמור לדוד, אדוני אלוהינו יחסר, בנודה שלוי צניע ממלכותי מעלינו. נפשי ישובב, ימחיני במעט צדק למען שמו. גם כי אלך בגצר מוות, ורק אתה עמדי. שתחום שנתך הם הנחמוני. תערוך לפני שולחן בגצר אליי. ישנת בשמן ראשי, כוסי רוויה. אך טוב החסד ירדפוני כל ימי חיי. ושבתי בבית אדוני לאורך ימים.
shepherd shall not want. God maketh me lie down in green pastures. God leadeth me beside the still waters. God restoreth my soul. God guides me in straight paths for the sake of his name. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Anointed my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of God forever. My eyes to the mountains. What is the source of my help? My help comes from Adonai, maker of heaven and earth. God will not let your foot give way. Your protector will not slumber. See, the protector of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. God is your guardian. God is your protection at your right hand. The sun will not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. God will guard you from all harm. God will guard your soul, your going and coming, now and forever. Amen. All of the relationships in Shelley's life, the longest ones, of course, are with her parents and her siblings, and her sister Marlene is going to share a few words of memory right now. Forward.
Rabbi, Reverend Marciano, friends, family. Shelley, whose Hebrew name is Sema, translates to treasure, and this name perfectly sums up who she was and what she meant to our family. My mom had a very difficult time conceiving, and after 8 long years of prayer, heartbreak, and tremendous pressure and patience, Shelley was born in 1952. She was a treasure to my parents and shined bright from the start. Her entry into the world marked the beginning of the Superstein clan. Donnie and I followed closely behind, me 2 years later, and Donnie 1 year after me. Growing up with only 3.5 years between the three of us was, as one might imagine, chaotic, boisterous, and fun. Our childhood home was a lively and frolic place, filled with endless music and dancing, and the ever-present feel of Zionism, joy, Yiddishkeit, and a place where Shelley's very colorful and bright and effervescent personality flourished. It was also a place where people gathered from all walks of life and the location of her very first stage. She was a performer from the start and was very skilled in the arts, music, and acting. These qualities carried with her throughout her life. She was always the first to sing a song and take the stage and really fill the room. Her gift to us was then and continued to be her unending kindness and generosity. she would really take off her coat, off her back, and give it to anyone. Shelley's days were cut short, but we know that her life was full of life. Our parents always taught us, Koved at avicha ve'et anicha. Honor thy mother and thy father. Something that my sister so beautifully taught her own children. Danny and Shayna, you took care of your mom with such grace and strength and were incredible advocates throughout the days of her life. Donnie and I thank you for taking care of our very dear sister. So, having no choice, I part with you now, Shelley. I ask that you rest in peace. We will miss you. We are here, down below. We love you so much. I ask that they watch over you, that they guard you well, because you deserve such a guard. Baruch Dayan Ha'emet, we will love you forever, always.
So much, Marlene. It was really, really beautiful. And I want to invite Shayna to share a few words as well.
You may or may not know this about my mom, but she played a mean tambourine. So my cousin Alexis suggested, hi Alexis, that I bring it, and when it got tough, I'm going to just bang it. Get through this with her. Do you mind if I move this? Thank you. Okay. Can you hold this for a sec? My rock, thank you. Okie dokie. Love rush. Gotta be closer. Love rush is a term my mom used often. I don't know if she created it, but I haven't ever heard it used by anyone else. Quite simply, a love rush is a spontaneous explosion of love that comes when you are surrounded by those you care deeply about. She loved and love rushed a lot. Nothing made her happier than being surrounded by her people. Her mishpacha, family, and her dear friends who were a mix just as eclectic as she was. She taught me that when that feeling, that love rush hits, to be present with it, to soak it in, to share the feeling with others, and if you were lucky, she may have even planted a wet one on your cheek with her signature hot pink lipstick. Today, Mom, we are all here, your loved ones near and far, your ancestors above, and the future generations you have created, love rushing hard for you. I often think that it's possible after having a loved one who was sick for so many years to forget how they were in the before. Not so with my mom. It's simply not possible to ever forget her. She is undoubtedly, to all who were lucky to know her, a one-of-a-kind free spirit who was completely unforgettable in every way. I'd like to share with you some of what made my mom so unique and incredible. Shelley was the queen of creative. As a kid, she would rally the neighborhood children to perform plays in her backyard. The love of the arts continued into her teenage years and remained until her final days at the Louis Brier. She was a constant performer with a definite flair for the dramatic, which presented both on and off the stage. As a kid, it was sometimes mortifying when she would belt into spontaneous song in a grocery store, or dance on tables in restaurants. Not kidding. Jana, I'm sure you saw that live. But as an adult, I couldn't help but appreciate her confidence and creativity. She would dance and most likely get you to dance like no one was watching. She would bust out into a Shakespearean sonnet at the drop of a hat. She was a mean puck. She would be Shelley one minute and Yenta the matchmaker the next. And she would sing proudly anywhere to anyone as though performing at Carnegie Hall. She painted beautifully, she was a phenomenal writer, an amazing creative chef, and an incredible actor on screen and stage. My mom loved her family. The Supersteins and Grabos were large, close-knit families who supported one another through thick and thin. She adored her two grandmothers. In a book she has left me that she wrote about her life, she says, "My two grandmas, Soupy and Grabo, were very, very dear to me. They were both amazing cooks and bakers, and just being near them made me feel very happy and secure. I learned so much from them. We laughed, we cooked, we sang, we ate and ate and ate. I have been so blessed. I know if my mom had had more time." Tambourine. It works. I know if my mom had had more time with her grandkids, Molly, Eli, Charlie, and Etta, they would say exactly the same thing about their dear Gammy. She was beyond ecstatic with the arrival of each of you. The proudest Gammy you ever did see, and she will always be with you in here. And then there were her beloved parents, Jake and Ruth Superstein. She was very close to them both. She got her dance moves from her dad, and her grace and incredible sense of style, case and point, from her mom. As sad as it is to say bye to my mom, I find so much solace in knowing she is now reunited with her loved ones who have left us. She is free to dance with them once again. As a mom, she was so supportive, so loving, and so much fun. We had an open door policy at our house growing up, so we had very regular drop-in visitors, friends, family, or the neighborhood kids who were in the know that Shelley's house was the place to go to get the best snacks on the block. If you know even a little about the Alexanders, you know that we are masters of the surprise. As kids, this presented in many ways, including being woken up in the middle of the night and taken on adventures. One time we were driven to the outskirts of Edmonton to watch the Perseid meteor showers. We cuddled in sleeping bags on a trampoline and drank hot chocolate together. Another time, our parents blindfolded us and took us to the bar to listen to Cousin Richard play the piano. Hi, Rich. This sort of spontaneity just seemed normal when Shelley was your mom. Later in life, I would come to expect my mom, my dad, or my brother to pop out from a cake anytime I had a celebration. She was an awesome mom. Besides her love of her family and the arts, my mom found huge fulfillment in giving back to her community. She was born and raised in Edmonton, and she loved the city, its parks, its art community, and its weather from May to September. She was a very active volunteer in the Edmonton Jewish community, involved in the Hadassah Women's Organization, the synagogue, the school, and the Chevra Kadisha. She also brought forth the idea of a home for Jewish elders in Edmonton called Our Parents' Home. The vision came to fruition. It was built, then sold, with the proceeds of the sale going to an endowment that will help fund the Jewish community there in perpetuity. I believe her biggest pride and joy was the benchmark program. She was inspired by Vancouver's equivalent of commemorative plaques on benches, and she spearheaded the establishment of this program in Edmonton, which still exists to this day and has been a significant funding source for the creation and maintenance of Edmonton's beautiful parks. Shelley loved to remind us to stop and smell the roses, and the benchmark program allows people to sit and do just that. In wrapping up, I want to thank you all for being here with us today to remember and honor the great woman that was Shelley. In particular,
Mike.
thank you,
Mike.
tambourine!
Mike, come on.
With pizzazz. In particular, I want to acknowledge a few people who, although not family by blood, have become an integral part of our mishpacha since 2017. To the phenomenal staff at the Louis Breyer, and to her beloved companions, Rose, Emmy, Dioza, Evie, Mila, Lanny, Dory, Janet, and more, we are eternally grateful to you. for watching over her, for taking such incredible care of her, for keeping her spirit and her Yiddishkeit alive. And for treating her with such dignity and respect. If my mom were here, she would offer you the grandest of standing ovations with an epic bravo, bravissimo. Thank you so much. I wasn't sure I was going to have the strength to speak this morning, but then I channeled my mom, and she said to me, as she often would in hard times, "The show must go on, darling." And so on we will go, missing her deeply, but knowing that she is always with us. When we sing, when we dance, when we bake, when we care for each other, when we tan, preferably topless and lathered in olive oil, when we discount shop, when we sit by the ocean, and when we lie under the night sky. She is with us. Mom. Mamale. Shelley, we love you and we will miss you.
So much, Shayna. Beautiful, beautiful words. So, among all of the songs that Shelley sang throughout her life, the one that she loved to sing the most to the people she loved the most was "You Are My Sunshine." And the grandchildren are going to sing it now. And invite Molly and Eli and Charlie and Etta to come.
Good job, buddy.
Etta, Charlie, Eli, and I would always sing this to our grandma.
I'll sing now, you'll hear.
Please sing along if you know it. You are my sunshine,
My only sunshine, you make me happy. The skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. My sunshine away. The other night, dear, while I was sleeping, I dreamt I held you in my arms. When I awoke, dear, I was mistaken. Then I hung my head and I cried. One more time. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. So please don't take my sunshine away.
So good.
It's a very beautiful poem that was written by Rabbi Nachman of Bratslav, the great Hasidic rabbi, about the spiritual power of a song. There is a song within every human being, and that beauty of the song is intertwined with the person and with the world, the natural world around them. The poem is called Shirat HaSavim, and it begins like this. Know this, that each and every shepherd has a unique melody of their own. Know this, that every blade of grass has a unique song of its own. And from the song of the grass comes the melody of the shepherd. Shelley, indeed, throughout her life, carried a unique melody of her own. She brought it with her wherever she went and sang it out to everyone she encountered. Yes, Rabbi Nachman teaches every person has a unique melody. But very few sing it out so proudly, so beautifully, so authentically, as did Shelley. The fullness of her life is truly inspirational. You can see why everyone loved being in her presence. She was fun and gregarious. She had that incredible energy level that filled every place she went and every person she encountered. And certainly much of this was expressed quite literally through music, through all of those songs and performances. Her roles, I learned she sang with an Israeli band in Edmonton, performed at the seniors' home, brought people together through singing in the living room, performing on the stage in musicals and Shakespeare. Even at Louis Breyer was gathering people for drumming circles and other music. But beyond the music, Shelley let her melody, her essence, her unique self out into the world. She wore her creativity on her sleeve, literally with her incredible fashion statements. She was a classy fashionista who loved a good bargain. She was a free spirit who let herself be fully present with everyone she encountered. She loved bringing people together, entertain at home, to welcome them into her orbit. Her cooking, which I was told was outstanding, as long as you did not try to step foot in her kitchen. Shelley was dedicated to bringing people together in community outside of her home, but in the world, through the Jewish community, all of those organizations that Shana mentioned. She was always thinking of other people, even when it was supposed to be on her. I learned that on her birthday, that rather than go out to celebrate at a restaurant, she would just get up and go to leave to cook at a women's shelter. The melody that Shelley shared with the world is likely what made everyone describe her as fun. She brought joy to people's lives. Shelley was a fun sister, as we learned. To Marlene, to Donnie. We grew up in this fun house together. Something in that presence of sibling connections that you took such great pleasure in experiencing together. What a blessing that is. I do want to acknowledge Donnie, who is not able to be with us in the cemetery, but I know is watching and whose presence is felt here with all of us as well. The two of you, your sister's memory should always be a blessing in your hearts. Shelley was a fun mom. Shana and Danny, I learned that story about her kidnapping you and blindfolding you with your dad and his adventures. It sounded so great. You told me how your friends would just come over after you had left for school, that they would still come and hang out with Shelley in the yard and get her advice and perspective on life. Two of you are really fortunate to have had her as your teacher, help you learn about the joys of life, and to model for you what it means to follow your passions. I know that that spirit will continue to guide you in your lives. Shelley loved her family so dearly. And when she became a grandmother, well, that's when Fun Gammy was born. She loved to spoil you with sweets and to create meaningful connections as she could. I know that for most of your lives, that Molly and Eli and Charlie and Etta, that your Gammy couldn't be with you as she would have wished to be. but she was so madly in love, and I know that you felt that. And the stories that you are going to learn about her life as you grow up, they will always remind you to enjoy the fun that she cherished so dearly. In Rabbi Nachman's poem, the connection is made between the song of the shepherd, the song of each blade of grass, which then inspired the shepherd to sing more and more. It's not so far-fetched that Shelley, who loved and breathed music so deeply, was also a great lover of nature. She found spirituality in the wonders of the natural world. She loved to share that with others. Today, with the sun shining and these trees soaring above us, even in the cold and the visible breath that reminds us not to take for granted a single precious moment, we are forever reminded of her and all that she taught us about love and living. Zichrona livracha, may her memory always be with us. Continue now with the chanting of Alalei Rachamim. Invite those who are seated, if you're able, to please rise.
תחת כנפי השכינה, אם קדושים וטהורים בזוהר הקהילה, מסעירים את נשמת סימה בת יעקב ורחל, שהלכה לעולמה. בעל הרחמים יסתירנה בסתר כנפיו לעולמים, ויצרו בצור החיים את נשמתה. אדוני הוא נחלתה, ותנוח בשלום על משכבה, ונאמר אמן.
Passionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence to Sima Bat Yaakov and Rachel, our beloved Shelley, Superstein, Alexander, who has entered eternity. O God of mercy, let her find refuge in the shadow of your wings, and let her soul be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. God is her inheritance. May she rest in peace. And let us say, Amen. Invite the pallbearers to please come